She has been a woman of few words, Melania Trump, seen only occasionally on the campaign trail.
He loves you, we love you.
But telling MSNBC she has an influence on the campaign.
I follow the news from A to Z. I'm on the phone with my husband a few times a day. He calls me, I call him, I tell him what's going on, he's on the road. And I give him my opinions.
At the same time, Trump is a full-time mother to the couple's son, Baron. She talks about her own mother in Slovenia.
Really special. She's with a lot of elegance and style. She was in fashion industry for a long time.
And when Slovenia was recognized as an independent nation, she says it helped her father, who was a salesman.
Once the Slovenia separated and was possible to have own business, he opened his own business.
As a recent interview and photo shoot for Harper's Bazaar shows, Melania is at home before the camera.
Melania Trump has largely stayed out of the public eye since her husband left the White House, but now that he's the apparent Republican nominee, many are wondering how she's going to be involved. Is she going to be that involved in his re-election campaign?
Mrs. Trump, are you going to return to the campaign trail with your husband? Stay tuned.
If you couldn't catch that quick soundbite, she said, stay tuned. Her comment came after voting in yesterday's Florida presidential primary. Let's discuss with White House correspondent for the New York Times, Katie Rogers, who's also the author of the new book, American Woman, the transformation of the modern First Lady from Hillary Clinton to Jill Biden. Katie, thank you so much for being with us. Stay tuned is not exactly a commitment to campaigning, but it is more than we've heard from Melania recently.
Right. I think one of the interesting things about her response is that it was a reply, but not an answer.
Melania Trump has always been a woman of few words, carefully choosing when and how she speaks. But when she does, the world listens. And now, in a stunning turn of events, the former First Lady has dropped a bombshell about Donald Trump that no one saw coming. Whether it's a revelation about their marriage, his legal battles, or something even more shocking, Melania's latest move is sending shockwaves through political circles and media headlines alike. So what exactly did she say? And what does it mean for Trump's future? Let's break it all down.
She came to the U.S. as a model after studying architecture and design in Europe, and she speaks several languages.
English, Italian, French, German.
An immigrant herself, Melania defended her husband's infamous comments on the border when announcing his candidacy back in June.
They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
I don't feel he insulted the Mexicans. He said illegal immigrants. He didn't talk about everybody. He's right what he's talking about. And he opened conversation that nobody did.
Melania speaks from personal experience when she says she believes immigrants need to come into the country the legal way.
I follow a law the way it's supposed to be. I never thought to stay here without papers. I had visa, I travel every few months back to the country, to Slovenia, to stamp the visa. I came back, I applied for the green card. I applied for the citizenship later on after many years of green card.
A stunning new book has dropped bombshell revelations about Donald and Melania Trump's marriage, painting a picture far removed from the carefully curated image of a loyal political couple. Best-selling author Michael Wolff, known for his explosive exposés on the Trump White House, has once again peeled back the curtain in All or Nothing, How Trump Recaptured America, offering a rare and unfiltered look at the former First Lady's true feelings about her husband. And if the sources quoted in the book are to be believed, Melania's verdict on Trump is nothing short of brutal. She f***ing hates him, a longtime Mar-a-Lago insider reportedly told Wolff, expressing shock that this sentiment even needed to be clarified. According to the author, this source, someone with deep ties to Trump's inner circle, was bewildered that this needed saying, implying that Melania's disdain for her husband is an open secret among those closest to the family. The book, a copy of which was obtained by the Daily Beast, offers a deep dive into Trump's 2024 campaign, chronicling the relentless legal battles, internal chaos, and strategic maneuvering that defined his bid to retake the White House. But one of the most glaring observations? The near-total absence of Melania. While past presidential spouses have played key roles in campaigns, attending rallies, speaking at events, and presenting a united family front, Melania has remained a ghostly figure in Trump's latest political chapter.
That I'm doing this. So Melania Trump has a new book out that she's promoting with video. And her talk on reproductive rights, she thought was written by NARAL. She was very forceful, very articulate about that. She also was very forceful and very articulate talking about immigration. The stupid press thinks this was all applied to help Trump with suburban women. I don't think that. I think she hates him. I think she can't stand the ground that he walks on. And I think she's got this piece of barbed wire and is sticking it right up his fat fucking ass. Yeah, that's right. You think about this. Going in and out, and he's begging, oh.
Wolf, the author behind Fire and Fury. Inside the Trump White House, a 2018 bestseller that shook Washington with its insider revelations, suggests that Melania's decision to stay in the shadows isn't just about privacy or a distaste for politics. It's a deliberate choice, one that underscores just how fractured her relationship with Trump has become. With Trump back in the White House after his 2024 election victory, this latest revelation raises even bigger questions. Will Melania continue to keep her distance? And if her alleged disdain for Trump is as deep as insiders claim, could that impact his presidency? One thing is clear. This book is set to reignite speculation about the true nature of the Trump's marriage and what role, if any, Melania will play as her husband embarks on his second term in the White House. All or Nothing sparked outrage among Trump's inner circle even before its release, setting the stage for a fierce war of words between the author and the former president's most trusted aides. As early as November, when rumors first surfaced that Michael Wolff was working on yet another tell-all book, key figures in Trump's orbit moved swiftly to discredit it. A statement issued by a coalition of top campaign officials, including Susie Wiles, who has since become Trump's White House chief of staff, and Chris LaCivita, a senior advisor, did not hold back in their condemnation of Wolff and his work. A number of us have received inquiries from the disgraced author Michael Wolff, whose previous work can only be described as fiction. He is a known peddler of fake news who routinely concocts situations, conversations, and conclusions that never happened. As a group, we have decided not to respond to his bad faith inquiries, and we encourage others to completely disregard whatever nonsense he eventually publishes. Consider this our blanket response to whatever he writes. Despite the scathing rebuke, All or Nothing delves deep into the behind-the-scenes chaos of Trump's 2024 campaign, offering extensive accounts of both Wiles and LaCivita's involvement. Though the book does not explicitly name its sources, it paints a vivid picture of the tension and strategic maneuvering within Trump's camp. But it is the book's portrayal of Melania Trump that is likely to cause the biggest stir within the White House.
People will ask him anytime he steps to a podium, if he wants to talk about how he wants to continue destroying the country and support Vladimir Putin, just ask him, how's Melania been? Oh, Mr. President, how's Melania been? Oh, we haven't heard from the First Lady in a while. How's Melania been? You know, we love the First Lady. Well, how's Melania been? Just make him answer the question. But again, they're too afraid of it because similar to like other publications and networks, they might be banned from all White House personnel if they say anything wrong.
100%. They'll be right with AP if they bring up Melania. And look, is it petty to focus on this? 100%. You know, and by the way, he has power. He's doing all sorts of damage. He's going to be looting the American government. He's handing over all of America's resources to the wealthiest people.
According to Wolff, throughout the 2024 campaign, Trump never publicly acknowledged that the most public marriage in the nation was breaking down, even as it became increasingly evident to observers. While Trump has always sought to project strength and unity in his political and personal life, his wife's near-total absence from his rallies and events spoke volumes. Unlike the 2016 and 2020 campaigns where she made carefully curated appearances, Melania was a rare sight throughout Trump's comeback bid, fueling speculation that she had no interest in playing the role of supportive First Lady once again.
Michael Wolff's bombshell book, All or Nothing, How Trump Recaptured America, has a special focus, not just on Donald Trump, but on Melania Trump, and a focus on the question of Melania. And it also has a pretty clear answer to that question. She effing hates him, a Mar-a-Lago patio confidant said. So one of the people that hangs out at Mar-a-Lago, one of these court followers who's there, and Trump comes out and messes up a wedding or whatever. And apparently in the rare instances in which they ever saw Melania, she was not a big fan of him. Wolff writes that his source was, quote, bewildered that this needed saying. It's just sort of common knowledge among the people around them, both at Mar-a-Lago and the administration, that, yeah, best case scenario, we have no idea what's going on with them. Worst case scenario, we know what's going on with them. He claims that Trump's staff did not know where Melania lived. Like, I always speculate, I thought she lived in Trump Tower, right? Or that she lived in a separate apartment in Mar-a-Lago. It's not even guaranteed that that is where she lives. They don't know.
The book suggests that behind the scenes, this tension was even more pronounced. Melania, known for her icy demeanor and fiercely guarded privacy, reportedly kept Trump at arm's length, further reinforcing the idea that their marriage was far from the picture-perfect union often presented to the public. Wolff's account raises uncomfortable questions. Was Melania's absence during the campaign a sign of deeper troubles within their marriage? And now that Trump has secured his return to the White House, will she step back into the role of First Lady or continue to keep her distance? While Trump's aides have dismissed the book as pure fiction, the speculation surrounding the state of his marriage is unlikely to die down anytime soon. If anything, All or Nothing has only reignited curiosity about the private life of the most powerful couple in America, whether they like it or not.
He writes that the former and future First Lady didn't make one campaign appearance for 18 months, refused to do a showstopper speech at the RNC, which was super strange that she didn't do it. I mean, he'd just been shot and she didn't even speak. Quote, whatever was going on, and no one had any idea what was going on, at least no more than was plainly obvious, it had certainly not been helped by the Stormy trial, which makes sense. In some sense, this is the darkest Trump hole. Nobody knows the answer to the what about Melania question, not even the people closest to him. What is the nature of the marriage? Nobody can tell you. Nobody can tell you where Melania even actually lives. He also suggested that Trump avoided going to the second day of his fraud trial because he didn't want to be asked under oath, quote, where exactly does your wife live? Because that could have been embarrassing. But even more embarrassing is this revelation. When it came to the night of her husband's election result, Melania, quote, sent word that she would not appear with him unless it was an outright win. Now, he did win outright, and Democrats not being immature little babies, they conceded on the night of. But if he had lost or if it was close, she wasn't planning on being there.
Michael Wolff's All or Nothing goes even further in exposing the growing chasm between Donald and Melania Trump, making a jaw-dropping claim. Even Trump's own staff had no idea where the former, and now future First Lady, was actually living during the 2024 campaign. According to Wolff, Melania was a complete enigma to the campaign team. Unlike past First Ladies who typically play visible roles in their husband's political ambitions, Melania was conspicuously absent. She did not make a single campaign appearance in the 18 months leading up to the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee in July 2024. A stark contrast to the likes of Jill Biden or even Michelle Obama, who both made frequent appearances on the campaign trail. Even when Trump's team planned a high-profile showstopper speech for her at the convention, one designed to showcase a united front and rally female voters, Melania reportedly flatly refused. The only moment she stepped into the spotlight was after Trump's acceptance speech as the GOP's presidential candidate. Dressed in a striking red gown, she joined her husband on stage, held his hands, and smiled as balloons rained down in the celebratory climax of the event. But beyond that symbolic moment of unity, she did not speak. The silence was deafening. Even as Trump basked in the adoration of his supporters, Melania's refusal to address the crowd underscored the widely speculated cracks in their relationship.
Finally tonight here, Melania Trump front and center here on this stage in a little bit, expected to talk about the personal side of Donald Trump. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
A former cover girl, Donald Trump's glamorous wife is no stranger to cameras.
Good evening. Isn't he the best?
But tonight, the focus on Melania Trump will be more intense than ever.
When you attack him, he will punch back 10 times harder.
Until now, she's mostly shied away from the campaign trail, as she told Barbara Walters.
We have a 9-year-old son together, Baron, and this is the age he needs a parent at home.
Born 46 years ago in Slovenia, she studied architecture and is fluent in 5 languages. If Trump wins, she would be the first lady who's been a supermodel, the first whose native language is not English, and the first to be her husband's 3rd wife.
Whatever was going on, and no one had any idea what was going on, at least no more than what was plainly obvious, it had certainly not been helped by the Stormy trial. The trial, which resulted in Trump's conviction on 34 felony charges, dredged up one of the most humiliating scandals of his career: the $130,000 hush money payment made to adult film star Stormy Daniels to silence her claims of an affair with Trump in the final days of the 2016 election. For Melania, the Stormy Daniels saga was more than just another legal headache. It was a personal betrayal revisited in brutal detail. The trial forced the nation to relive allegations of infidelity, lurid details, and secret payouts, all while she maintained her signature stoic silence. While Trump's supporters dismissed the charges as politically motivated, Melania's absence from his side throughout the ordeal spoke volumes. Unlike previous controversies, where she issued brief, carefully worded statements or appeared at his side, this time she stayed completely in the shadows. According to Wolf, Melania was notably absent throughout Trump's legal battles, including his hush money trial involving Stormy Daniels and his various indictments. When asked to accompany Trump to his first court appearance in New York, she reportedly laughed and dismissed the idea, saying, "Nice try." Wolf further claims that Trump's campaign quietly acknowledged Melania's limited role, floating the term part-time First Lady, and suggesting she would split her time between the White House and Trump Tower to be near their son, Barron, who was attending New York University. Campaign staffers were reportedly in a constant state of uncertainty about her involvement, questioning daily whether she would show up to key events.
This morning, multiple sources tell CNN that Melania Trump is unlikely to move back into the White House full-time in January. So what does this mean exactly? With us now, CNN senior White House producer Betsy Klein. Great to see you this morning. What are you learning on this front, Betsy?
Well, John, Melania Trump spent her first 4 years in office showing a willingness to buck tradition, and she is laying an early marker here that this time around will be no different. And we're seeing that just today, as she is expected to skip that meeting customary with First Lady Jill Biden as their husbands meet in the Oval Office. And sources are saying that that is because of a prior scheduling commitment related to her book. But we are also learning, as you mentioned, John, our colleague Kristen Holmes and I report that she is unlikely to move to Washington full time in January when President Trump takes office. And that is because she is going to likely be splitting her time between Palm Beach, where Mar-a-Lago is, and New York, where Barron Trump is in college.
Perhaps most shockingly, Wolf suggests that Trump's marriage had become an enigma even to his closest allies. He recalls an October 2023 interview Trump gave to Megyn Kelly, where she asked about Melania. According to Wolf, the conversation took a bizarre turn, as even those closest to Trump had no clear answer about the true nature of their relationship. "Nobody knows the answer to the "what about Melania" question," he writes. Not even the people closest to him. Some insiders speculated that Melania had her own apartment in Trump Tower, a separate arrangement that was transactional rather than romantic, something difficult to explain to Trump's conservative base.
Now, those same sources tell us that she is likely to be at the White House for major events, and she will develop her own platform and priorities.
Is this going to be like a long-distance marriage or a part-time first ladyship? I mean, I know that Melania Trump, and you've covered her for a long time, it handles all this in a pretty non-traditional way.
Well, Well, certainly. And, it is unprecedented for a first lady to not live full time at the White House, but it shouldn't be a surprise to any longtime observers of Melania Trump. And her preference is not to be publicly involved. And internally among the Trump team, sources say that they're okay with that. There is not a lot of internal backlash there. And we've also learned that she's really telegraphed this over the past few years. It's really taking a much less active role in this campaign compared to 2016 and 2020. She only was on hand for the announcement back in 2022, and she was on stage at Madison Square Garden a couple of weeks ago and on stage with family on election night.
Despite her distance from the campaign, Melania did offer one surprising gesture, volunteering to introduce Trump at an October 27th rally at Madison Square Garden. Wolf describes this as either a pity move or an olive branch. However, on election night, she made her conditions clear. She would not appear unless Trump won outright. When victory was confirmed, she finally took the stage to celebrate with him, maintaining the public illusion of unity.
Please welcome our next Commander-in-Chief, my husband, President Donald J. Trump.
Still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
The White House responded aggressively to Wolf's claims. Communications Director Stephen Chung issued a fiery statement. He said, "Michael Wolf is a lying sack of S****** and has been proven to be a fraud. He routinely fabricates stories originating from his sick and warped imagination, only possible because he has a severe and debilitating case of Trump derangement syndrome that has rotted his peanut-sized brain." With Trump back in the White House, will Melania embrace the role of First Lady once again, or will she remain a distant figure, making only carefully curated appearances? As All or Nothing reignites these debates, the world will be watching closely to see what Melania's next move will be, and whether her bombshell revelations will have lasting consequences for Trump's presidency.